Hello, my name is Laura Shea, or your students might know me as Mrs. Holland. I just got married, and my name is not officially changed yet, but some of the kids are calling me by my married name, which is Mrs. Holland or Miss Shea, so I answer to either. Um, I have your student for Geometry CP, and I'm very excited about this year. Just a little about myself. This is my 12th year teaching, and I have a Master's of Arts in Teaching from Boston University in Math Education, and I have a Bachelor of Arts from Stonehill College for my undergrad. About this course, geometry was actually is my favorite math. Um, I It's different than any other math. If you are a visual person, then you'll probably be very successful at it because there are so many diagrams and so many things to see that if you visually are good at interpreting things, then it's going to make sense to you. It uses concepts from Algebra 1, like solving equations. Hopefully your student did well in Algebra 1 so that they can be successful in geometry. Some of the materials that the kids might need for class are a binder. A three-ring binder is good. I give out notes and worksheets, so it's good to three-hole punch them and keep things organized instead of having to search through a folder for them. So that is what I would recommend for them to use. Also, have plenty of pencils because we know in math you make mistakes, and we actually um, are happy for students to make mistakes because if they end up fixing their mistake, they're way less likely to make that mistake ever again. Um, and please, if you can, pick up a calculator for your student because I'm not allowing the students to use their phones because the phones just, allow them to get text messages and be on Snapchat or whatnot. So no phones allowed. If you can get them a calculator, a scientific one is great, or just a regular calculator is fine, just for arithmetic, pretty much. Um, you can pick it up at CVS, Job Lot, Staples, 10 to 12 bucks, and they'll use it for the rest of their career in math. Um, some of the formative and summative assessments I do, I have the kids give me thumbs levels on how they're feeling after we do a problem. So, for example, they indicate, and it's quiet, no one else around them can really see how they're feeling. So, I'll ask, okay, how are you feeling on that? Give me thumbs. And I say, do thumbs up, medium, or down on how you're feeling. And it's just a good indicator because if kids put their thumbs down, I'm more likely to re explain a problem and I just have an idea of where the class is at. I also poll students when we go over homework on how they did on the problem. So I ask students who got that right and they raise their hands if they got it right or not, and that way I can see how students did on their homework. Um, Summative assessments are your quizzes and tests, and those are either in the middle of the chapter or at the end of the chapter. But they are out of a certain amount of points. It might be 20 to 30 on a quiz. It might be 40 to 50 on a test. Um, Basically, I do total points for my grading. So each homework is worth 10 points, and then the tests and quizzes will be worth more than that. Total points means that basically at the end of the grading period, or at any time during the grade period, the students have a certain amount of points, and there's a certain amount total that is available to them. So they have that the amount of points that they have divided by the total, and that's how your grade is calculated. A little bit about the curriculum. I just want to share a few of the first things. We don't really have time to go over everything that we go over in geometry, but some of the things we are doing this year, the first chapter that we're on, that we're actually wrapping up, is the basics of geometry: points, lines, planes, segments, angles. Um, really what makes up everything else that we do in geometry. Next, we go to reasoning and proof. So we get a little logic in there and if then statements. And the kids really enjoyed that chapter last year, so I hope it goes well this year. Then after that, we go to parallel lines and transversals. So basically, a parallel line cut by another line and forms a bunch of angles parallel lines cut by another line form a bunch of angles, and they have certain relationships with each other. So that's the chapter we go to next. And then triangles after that. And triangles, basically, we're using them for the whole rest of the year. They're in all of the other shapes that you deal with. So um, triangles, and we deal with right triangles towards the end of the year, specifically trigonometry. So yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had. Um, well, I didn't talk about how to study. I just wanted to say for tests and quizzes, kids think they can't study in math, but that's not true. I think the best way to study is to re-go over old problems. So, for example, they have their notes, and we um, have all their solutions in the notes. So, to actually take out the notes, cover up the solution, try it on a new piece of paper, and see how they did. If they got it right, they can move on to the next thing. If they didn't get it right, they can see where they went wrong by looking at the solution that they got. And I think that's the best way to study. It really reinforces the material. Um, so if they say they just have to study for homework so they don't have homework, not really true. They still have to do stuff. Um, we go by a textbook, and if your students want a textbook, we don't sign them out to everyone. But if you want to take a textbook home, you're free to do that. It's great to have um, all of the material there in front of you, and for extra help and whatnot to reinforce things. So feel free to just ask your student to sign out a textbook, and I will be happy to do that. You can keep it for the whole year, or they can keep it in their locker. Okay, so basically, the best way to get in contact with me is my email, and I wrote it up here. It's shay_laura at mybps.us. So feel free to send me an email, and I'll be happy to talk to you. And I hope this year goes well, and I hope your student is enjoying math. Um, all right, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye bye.